Welcome everyone to today's tutorial. My name is Melissa and I'm super excited to be making the second video of this series. And in this series where I like to break down yoga postures for you, giving you modifications for different body types, as well as giving you levels to work through if you want to progress your practice at home. So I like to give lots of options to my students. And so today we're going to be doing Ardha Matsurasana, and that's half Lord of the Fish pose. Now I know it's a really long name, but it's a seated twist that we do at the end of practice. It's usually during the cool down when we come to seated, just because it's a very deep twist and it takes a lot of movement into our spine. So we want to make sure that we're nice and warm from our practice and we've had time to move around in different directions to be able to create that space to move into. So I'm going to be mirroring you today, so just keep that in mind. But I like to start in Dandasana. So in Dandasana, we flex the toes towards us. We're engaging our thighs and our legs. We're sitting up nice and tall, shoulders away from the ears, pushing into the mat here. Shoulders are nice and broad, chin is slightly tucked, and the core is engaged. So we're really pulling belly to spine here. Now this might look like an easy pose, but everything is working in this pose. So it's a very intentional pose. Now I like to do this before doing the twist, the seated twist, because it sets the intention of really sitting up nice and tall through the crown of the head and pulling that navel to spine. So when we go into this twist, we're going to be able to find that connection and that space to move into. So sitting up nice and tall here. Now we're going to pull in our right leg in, and we're going to step it over this left leg. So we can stay here. This is always an option, and for some people, keeping this leg straight feels more comfortable for them, so you're welcome to stay here. So we're going to be twisting over to this right side. Now if you don't like your legs straight, you can roll on this left hip and tuck in this left foot into your right sit bone. So now you're kind of doing a crisscross. Now you don't want it sitting right underneath your sit bone, just next to it. So your sit bones are still connected to the earth. So we're going to be twisting over to the right side. So we're going to take it on different levels, different options. And depending on the length of your arms will depend on what is accessible for you, but we'll give you some options here. So the first option is hooking on the inside of this right leg. So what we want to do is we want to hook on the inside and we want to lift up nice and tall through the crown of the head. Now this right hand's going to just tent behind us just for that support. We're not leaning into it. We're still sitting up nice and tall. It's just there for that little bit of stability. So growing nice and tall through the crown of the head, finding that space, and then exhaling, moving into that space, starting from the lower part of your spine. So really inhale, and then exhale into the middle spine. Inhale nice and tall, and then exhale into the shoulders, the upper spine, and the gaze can go to the back of the mat if it's okay for your neck. And then when you're ready, coming back to center and releasing. So that's your level one, and like I said, depending on your arms, that might be where you stay, and that may be perfectly comfortable for you to stay with. But if you'd like to try different options, we're going to try option number 2. So instead of hooking on the inside here, we're going to lift our arm up and hook on the outside. So here we're really pushing the back of this arm into the leg and the leg into the arm. So we're creating that co-contraction again. So we're really finding that leverage to really push forward and upward. So inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist. Inhale, find the space. Exhale, move into that space. Inhale one more time. Exhale, twisting into the upper back. Gaze to the back of the mat if it's okay for your neck. And then coming back into center. So that's option number 2. Now option number 3 is a bind. Now there's 2 different kinds of binds. The first one I'll show you is a little bit more accessible to most people. Now I'm going to do it with a strap because a lot of people don't have the arm strength to be able to reach under and around. So the strap is a really good place to start. You might just need it for guidance for a little bit as you work towards grabbing your other hand, or it might be something that you just use all the time, and just because of the length of your arms. It's kind of neat that we have these little props to work with. So we're gonna sit up nice and tall. We're inhaling. We're gonna hook that arm on the outside of this right leg, and then we're gonna reach underneath and grab onto this strap. Sitting nice and tall, and then we're gonna reach around with this right hand and grab the strap. Now the purpose is to start to work your hands towards each other, slowly making your way to grabbing hands. Now here, when we bind, we don't want to collapse forward. We really want to pull the shoulder blades on the back side of our body, broadening the front side of our chest. So sitting up nice and tall. And then we're inhaling, twisting from the lower back. Inhaling, finding that space. Exhaling, twisting the middle back. Inhaling, and then twisting into the upper back. And gaze goes to the back of the mat. So I'm going to do that posture on a different angle just so you can see what I'm doing behind my back. All right, so we've got the strap here, weaving through. We're sitting up nice and tall. We're grabbing this arm. We're hooking it on the outside. We're weaving it through the space we created, grabbing onto the strap. And then we're going to reach around, grab onto the strap with the other hand. And then we're working our hands towards each other. Eventually, we'll be able to clasp the hands and really sit up nice and tall. And now this is where you really work into the twist. Every inhale, lengthen. Every exhale, twist a little deeper. And then when you're ready, releasing and coming back into center. So those the option with the strap. Now, there is another bind, but it isn't as accessible. I find when we go through the space we created, we have a lot more room to reach around. So I'll show you the last bind, but it's one of those binds that I find very difficult to do if you don't have longer arms. So with that one, you're gonna reach around like this, and then you're going to tilt your arm this way down, so your palm's facing up, and then you're reaching around with your other hand. And you can see that it's really hard to keep that connection if you don't have long enough arms because your knee wants to pop out, right? So that's why I generally don't teach that bind. I like to do the one that you put your arm through that space that you created. So it took me a really long time. I have a really, I'm really short as it is, but I have a really short torso. So it took me a really long time to find that space to move into. So wherever you're at, make sure to find love and compassion for your journey. We're always changing, we're always growing. And this is kind of the fun in yoga, right? We're always kind of progressing through and seeing where we can go, what's comfortable for us, and maybe what's not comfortable for us. And so it's not about how far we go, it's just about how we feel at the end of the day. So have some fun with your seated twist here, and I will see you in our next video. So the love, the light, and the beauty within me honors the love, the light, and the beauty within you. And in this way, we are all one. Namaste.